Peace, Moors. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're gonna go live. It's not gonna be too long, but we're gonna speak on some issues pertinent to the movement. All right, Islam Moors. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We're just gonna speak on some issues pertaining to the movement. It's not gonna be too long. Just gonna speak on some things just in general to help everybody out. We can still see just from the feedback that some people are giving that there's still a lot of confusion about what Moorish nationality actually entails, what it means, how to go about improving things as a whole. Okay, and we even see that from some of the people who probably feel like they have a good grasp on it, who feel like they understand, you know. And so I'm just gonna speak on that, just touch on some things. And but first, before we do that, we want to give honors. We want to give much praise to the Most High, Father Allah, Father of the universe. We want to give honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali for bringing us our divine creed and nationality. If it wasn't for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we wouldn't even know about this. If you think that we aren't where we're supposed to be at already, just imagine how worse it could be if we still weren't aware of the labels that were, you know, placed on us. If we weren't aware that our nationality was stripped from us, and that it was done so divinely and prepared, that he actually created and started a movement, a society for us, and established it legally and lawfully, so that it's recognized all over the world. Now, I understand people want to go and create their own movements, and there's even some who are foolish enough to think that the prophet, what he brought, is outdated or that it doesn't work. But hey, that's fine, because anyone who actually understands law, okay, can tell you that this is legit. All right, and so we always give honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali for that. Okay, Islam, you understand? Islam. So we also want to give honors to the forerunner to the Prophet Marcus Mosiah Garvey for preparing the way for Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And we want to give honors to our first Supreme Grand Sheikh, E. Millie Ill. Honors to the current Supreme Grand Sheikh, Brother D. Bailey Ill. Honors to all members in leadership, the Supreme Grand Council, the Grand Body. We want to give honors to all faithful Moors, all members of the Moorish Science Temple, and I'll throw this in to all Moorish organizations, period, all over the place, right? No matter where you're at, even those who don't consider themselves Moors, who don't really understand what we're talking about, we give honors and respect to them too, okay? Because we're all brothers in this, all right? Okay, and so now that I've gotten that done, I'm going to go ahead and move on to what we wanted to talk about today. All right, fam? All right, people. So, yeah. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Okay? Thank you. And I wanted to make sure that everyone that's watching this hits the like and the share button. I probably say this every time, but it's really important because more people need to hear this, because a lot of this stuff it sounds simple, and so it makes sense. You know, I know that this stuff works because people email me, and we get messages from people who are like, oh wow, some people were going down the wrong route, or they were confused as to how to move. And so once people hear this, it helps. It may not help everyone, but it helps a lot, and that's what it's all about. And so please make sure you spread that message. Okay, so hit like and share. Okay, and now I forgot what the topic said. Said more info or advice or something like that. But we're just talking about how to move. Well, what this is, what this divine movement actually is, and how to utilize it and to put it into action. Okay, and unfortunately, we also have to hit a little bit on how not to move. Okay, because that seems to be getting the most traction. All right, and reasons for that is because most people are coming into this with the extreme information that's circulating out there, which isn't really what the prophet brought at all. Matter of fact, it's has a lot of information that's been mixed in from people who are of European descent, who are anti-government. Okay, and that movement in and of itself has been building up since at least the 70s, but probably before then, but started making leeway and headway in the 70s, where they were actually getting into confrontations with law enforcement and doing all types of things, and so that is where people were drawing that information, things that they were writing up for themselves, not for us, and mixing it in to the Moorish Divine and National Movement. So it's not actually a part of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, because we have documents, certain things like our divine laws, all right? Our divine laws and constitution, which we abide by. We have divine laws. We have order and things that we're supposed to do. And so a lot of the things that you hear people saying and arguing about are out of order. They're out of order. They're not divine. And so when people are moving like that, they're breaking our laws. All right. And so, before I really get into that, I just want to show you some things, right? Okay. Because what we really want to be positive. I don't want to get everybody all down, especially pointing out the things that people are doing wrong. I know that it doesn't always work. When you're pointing out what people are doing wrong, nobody wants to hear that. Okay. All right. So maybe we could speak on that in a second. I will get to that. The brother asked if we could speak on the idea of Moors trying to establish Moorish armies or military. And that's legit. So we're going to talk on that because we're focusing on real solutions, practical, not some fantasy stuff. Okay? All right, and I'll do a screen share real quick with you. I want you to see something, and hang on a second. All right. Okay, so if you're looking right here, you see this building. This is an old building. I don't even know if they use this anymore. It says New Mahari or whatever. Okay, Mahari is a hospital. It's a medical college, and it's a Asiatic, black college. That's what they call it. It's an Asiatic hospital, Asiatic college. Okay, this is actually one of the historical black colleges in this country, right? HBCU. We say Asiatic, of course, but you understand what I'm saying. This was one of the second oldest, okay, Asiatic medical colleges in the country, right? Now, during segregation, you had places like this actually all over the country. All right? I'm not going to say every city was dotted with these places, but I'm saying like you had institutions like this all over the country. All right? Places that we built and things that were just for us. All right? And one of the mind games, mind tricks that we were corralled into was the whole segregation thing. You had a real grassroots movement, which you can learn yourself just from reading outside the book, not just taking history as you're taught. And all this is going to make a point. Not just accepting history as you've been taught in the schools, the public school institutions. Reading outside the box. You read Malcolm X's autobiography. He talks about how the real movement, was about us attaining more power and protecting ourselves. It wasn't about us being able to eat in the same restaurants and ride the buses together and all that. That was the soft version of it, right? The real thing was about they're lynching us. And what were the lynchings were about? This was really what segregation was about. Segregation was a ploy to get in there and break up the economic system that we were building up, right? Having our own towns, having our own businesses, working with each other. We were already participating in government, right? So this was coming through to break that up, break up that power that we had, right? Because there were millions of us. And so so that's one ploy, is to come in and break it up. But then you had the actual physical attacks, okay, where they're actually coming in, killing people, lynching people. A lot of times the people that were being lynched, that were being, hung from trees, burned, just murdered. A lot of these people were business owners. A lot of these people were landowners. They didn't just have land. They had farms. They had retail establishments, right? And so a lot of the attacks were against people who were doing things, who were progressive and economically, who were making moves, right? And so a lot of people now have heard of Black Wall Street. You've heard of maybe Rosewood, Florida, because of the movie. But these types of things were happening all over the country. Talk to your elders. I talked to my grandfather. He used to tell me that this stuff happened all over the country. He also told us that he was indigenous to the land. But That's a whole nother thing. But like I was saying, it was happening all over the place, right? Everywhere we had a community, it was coming under attack at every front, politically and physically. They're actually at war, right? And so they were breaking things like this up. And the reason I showed this is because, like, unless you're like in the Nashville area, you probably never even heard of this, right? Even though it's not the only one. And this is the reason I show this is because a lot of people, just the idea, even though a lot of people talk this stuff, like we're going to have our own, a lot of that stuff is unbelievable to you. You can't even really fathom the idea of us having our own hospital, right? You can't even fathom the idea of us really having our own court system for real. Not the way that people are trying to do it now. This is Meharry College now, right? Still historical HBCU, right? Okay? And so a lot of people, this is unbelievable to them. It's not even really possible. You can't even really fathom that. And so I put that out there because imagery is important and people need to see it, right? And so on one aspect, that's how it was done. And, the attack. And while the attacks were going on, while the physical attacks were going on, you had the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? And the Moorish communities were able to come up and thrive and build businesses, right? Okay? And one of the things that we're able to rally behind, of course, is our nationality, working collectively to, get ourselves out of the box that we've been placed in, by former slaveholders. Okay? But also, like the brother just said, to speak on establishing Moorish armies or military, this is the way you do it. You have to start off somewhere, right? The people who want to argue jurisdiction, the thing is, there's a whole bunch of people of European descent making that same argument. Arguing jurisdiction and winning in court. It's not a Moorish thing, right? And so what the brother was saying, to do that legitimately, you have to have your own court system, your own society, a way to deal with your own people and do it legitimately. There's a brother we're going to speak with on the show too, who can go further on that because he's actually doing that, in the physical right now. But you have to start somewhere, all right? And so with the establishment of the real, actual, physical, metaphysical, spiritual society that's real, that has laws, which we conduct ourselves by, which we carry ourselves by, and which we are serious about, that carries weight. Then, not right now, but then you can make that argument because you're building, you have your society, you have your way of doing the things, you have your own, you can create your own security companies, and then you can patrol your own neighborhoods, right? But to do these things, you have to have your own government. You have to have your own way of governing your people, your society. You have to, because if you're not, you're just a ward of the state. You're just, you can't really speak for yourself. Black people can't really speak for themselves. Black people have a black caucus. We have black leadership. We have black people in all different areas, of government, of all industry, everything. But we can't really speak for ourselves, okay? Because, well, not we, but you can't really speak for yourselves as a collective, these people, because they don't have, what it really needs. They don't have their own governing power, their own, their own structure, right? So they have to break out of that. And it has to be done for real. It can't just be people randomly here, randomly there. We're going to run up in there. We're going to fight the system, right? It doesn't work like that. That's not how it's done internationally, right? That's not how it's done. That's not how you make leeway. Okay, and to get back to that, okay, you have your own governing system, your things that you abide by, how you conduct yourself, all right? And from that, then you build forth the institutions, all right, to protect yourself. But you have to build on something, right? And there's one thing, like with the whole thing with laws, right? Right? A lot of people don't even know this. Let me bring the screen share right back up. A lot of people don't even know this. You know, you're getting the information off the internet, and then we got people who don't even know that we actually have laws, right? Like this, you know? People never even seen the divine constitution and bylaws. They don't even know what that means. And so when you hear and see people making these arguments, you know, about, you know, how they're not enforcing the Constitution or whatever, you know? And you hear this a lot, especially with the people who are like really trying to run with the information they're getting online. You want to stand on your right to travel and all these things, but you don't even know. But by the laws, the divine laws that we have, you're out of order. This is not what the prophet brought. This is what the prophet brought. What you see on the screen. Not the things that people are making up, the things that people have been adding to it within the last 20, 30 years. All right? Okay, because according to this, there is an orderly way to go about doing things which will actually bring about the results that we want, the desired results. Right? We can't necessarily be out here causing trouble, doing things that will make your life more difficult, maybe even get you put behind bars and things like that, so that you can't build up the community. We can't be out here doing that. We have a way of going about doing things. What was the prophet doing? They were doing the same things you just saw, where you saw the buildings, you know, the hospital building up on the screen. People were actually purchasing land. They're opening businesses, right? Working with each other. You keep building on that to the point where you're actually establishing trade, trading with each other, and then trading with other countries, other nations. All right? But doing something like taking a stand on your right to drive around without a driver's license, that's petty. That's not getting things done on a small scale or on a grand scale, because these people aren't even getting laws made specifically for them in their own communities. They're not even going about it at that level where they're like, okay, well, we're going to make it where we have our own thing here, and so they're not going to mess with us. When they see us with our Moorish plates in our community, they know to leave us alone. They don't even have it like that. So people aren't even attacking it at that level. It's just here and there. And I don't want to focus too much on that, you know, and you know, because it's not really productive, but that's really where it's at right now. Okay, so things have to be done at a larger, you know, on a larger scale, and it has to be organized, and you have to move as a unit, and that's what nationality is, right? Okay, and what one of the things that I wanted to say, hang on a second, I wanted to show you something in particular. Hold up. Okay, I can't find it, but here's the thing, right? You have people who will attack the movement that the prophet started, the temple, and they'll say, you know, because you have people out here, one of the main things, of course, what I just mentioned, you want to stand on your right to travel. People want to file liens against public officials, right? Which makes no sense. You're taking advantage of loopholes and the fact that the system's overrun, right? Because, you know, the lien is actually, you're supposed to have a contract between somebody. Like, say you work on houses and you did work on that house and you didn't get paid, and they're trying to sell that house. You put a lien on the house, so it has to get paid at some point. Somebody's gonna have to pay that, right? But you don't just go, you know, just go around just putting liens on people for no reason. Some type of contract, you know, has to be established. There's supposed to be a reason for it. You can't just like, there was a lady who got arrested and sentenced to like 7 years, and she got sentenced for okay, she filed liens against like 10 or more different people. I don't know. She filed like $1 million liens against these public officials because her brother had gotten locked up, and that was her way of retaliating against them, to give them something to deal with, right? And she didn't know, probably she didn't know that in Illinois they had passed a law preventing any types of attacks against judges, you know, and different public officials, because something had happened where a judge's family had gotten killed, and a whole bunch of people like sheriffs and things had gotten killed. It was some mess where somebody, you know, wanted to intimidate them, and they went around killing them. So they passed the law, and so, you know, unbeknownst to her, she just entrapped herself and made it where she could get locked up. All right. And so the thing is that, like, you're messing around doing this stuff, trust me, there's ways to turn it against you too. All right. And then you're just taking advantage of loopholes in the system if you're doing it. All right. Because you don't have any legit contract with these people, with these congressmen, with the president and all these people. You don't really have a reason to be doing this. Okay. All right. So people are doing this. They're not getting paid. They're filing $1 million liens and multi-million-dollar liens. They're not getting paid off of it. It's not doing anything. And then sometimes it's backfiring, and that person that is foolish enough to do it is getting locked up. And then on top of that, it's not Moorish. It's not what the prophet brought. It has nothing to do with building our nation. And it was just something that Europeans were doing to each other. All right, because they were banging on the government, and they're still doing it, right? Sovereign citizens. We have nothing to do with that. It's a known fact. Okay, and so you have people doing these things, and they're getting in trouble. They're getting locked up, right? And one of the foolish arguments that you'll hear from people who back that, they'll say, "Well, why isn't the Moorish Science Temple coming and getting these people out? Why isn't the temple helping them?" And it's foolish. It's asinine, because we have laws. You are out of order. You are breaking the laws. We're bound by these laws. You don't want to be Moorish American. You don't really consider yourself Moorish American, so it doesn't apply to you. So you're not following the law. So why would the temple come and help you when you're doing something? You're breaking our laws. You're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. Plain and simple. No one competent in the temple is advising you to do this stuff. So if you're out here doing it, getting yourself in trouble, putting yourself in harm's way for no reason, all right, you can't then try to put that on the temple to help you. Or why isn't the temple enforcing these laws? Why isn't the temple, like, okay, first off, let's just be real about the whole right to travel thing. Yeah, right to travel is important, but just be real. Like, operating a vehicle, you need, in this day and age, in this world that we live in, there needs to be a system set up so that everyone who's operating is not just going off of the just trust that they know what they're doing, they're good. All right? There needs to be something set up. Right now, it's the driver's license, man. You want something better, it's going to have to be built. All right? We're going to have to build it. You can't just jump to that point. It hasn't been done yet. And so, the people are acting out of order. They're causing confusion out here. And so that's the thing. The temple can't help you because you're breaking our laws. You're breaking divine law. All right? That's huge. But they don't care about that. They're breaking divine law. And then the other thing is, they're not organized. You guys who want to stand on your square all the time, who want to, do these random things, how come you guys don't put your money where your mouth is? Why don't you guys set up a fund so that anyone who wants to stand on their right to travel, when the police come and bust their window out, take them, ham them up, take them to jail, why don't you have stuff set up for them? Why don't y'all at least kick in $20, $40, $50, $100 so that when y'all do these random things, at least you're covered financially, right? Because they got to repair their car. They got to get their car out of impound. They're in jail unless they just going to sit in there until they're released, they're going to have to pay bond. They're going to have to pay court fees. All right. Then some of these people actually facing prison time. Right. Why don't y'all set up a legal society, company, like to have people who can go and represent these people? That would be a better hustle than selling paperwork, bogus paperwork. Right. So, and then somebody just put a foolish comment in there. Like, you didn't hear any of that? You have to have order. You're out of order. You're causing confusion. Okay? And then if you're out there doing it, you're all by yourself. The people who are encouraging you to do it are not going to help you. You guys, you can't even build with your like-minded people who feel the same way as you. You can't even trust them. They won't even come and bail you out if you get in trouble. They won't even help you. Okay? You're on your own if you're doing that. Because it's disorganized. Why is it disorganized? Because every attack at our people is based off of, at the core, being disorganized. So that it stands on nothing. Okay, I keep using this as an example. The Black Lives Matter movement. What is it about? Nothing. We didn't start it. It's funded. Everyone knows. This is public information now. It's not a conspiracy. George Soros, a billionaire, funded it, right? He's just one of the people. There's people who have no real interest in our community being successful that are financing this stuff. What is Black Lives Matter at its core? It is getting a bunch of people to protest police brutality and violence, right? That's it. Not to get any laws changed, not to put anything on the table, say, hey, we'll stop protesting when you guys stop doing this. And not actually getting any laws changed, not making it where, hey, we need a panel of our own people that we decide, like the ADL. We need our own ADL league to make sure that we're not out here getting lynched. They're not doing anything like that. So it's confusion at its core. It's empty, right? It's just random people. Hey, yeah, they're getting people up to protest. They aiming at people who don't like what's going on, who feel, like you should feel, who feel upset about seeing that stuff. They're getting them out there to get their energy out, but not get anything accomplished. This stuff, like the person that just put this mess in here about the driver's license, that information that people are dealing with is the same thing. It's confusion at its core because it's got you out here standing on your square for no reason. You're not getting any laws changed. You're not changing nothing. You're not changing anything. Okay? So people have been doing this stuff for years and nothing's changed. There's no purpose. You're not like, well, we're going to stop confusing the courts and doing this stuff when you recognize us and blah, 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 blah. Right? Not getting anything changed. Nothing at a legislative level, and then not even backing each other up. Not even starting GoFundMe's or something. Or making a real fund. Trust, something where you guys are putting funds into so that you guys are good when you get caught up. When it doesn't work. When you fall on your face. You don't even have each other's back. It's every man for himself. And I know it appeals. I know why it appeals to people. Hey, you don't know me. It's like, look, I'm probably way more gangster with this than you. We moved out of the country because we were tired of this stuff. Because we're on it. We're on it then. We're still on it now. But a little wiser with it. And I'm telling you, it's a joke. It's a game. It's tapping into your energy. Okay? It's tapping into your energy and giving you no substance. Getting you to get your energy out, but not get any results for it. That's the difference. Okay? The Moorish Science Temple isn't accomplishing what it's supposed to. It's because there's no one in there. All right? No one. The temples are empty. So that should dead everything. Somebody said something about, I'm confused, so confused. The Moorish Temple that you deal with, part of your rules for people to have a U.S. driver's license. That wasn't even, that's not a good question. Okay, first off, the temples are empty. There's very few people in there. So, boom, you can dead it on that. there's not enough people to do what we need to do in the temples. All right? So more people are going to have to come in who are ready to do what the prophet set forth. So there's that right there. The temple isn't the reason for your issues and troubles. The temple isn't the thing that's holding you back. All right? So that's it on that. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Okay, and in order for us to be able to carry out the things that we really need to do, like the brother said earlier, how can we set up our own police and military? Well, first and foremost, we have to come into the temples and we have to take part in our government that was set up for us. Within each temple, the heads of the temple, the grand body, the Supreme Grand Council, we have things that we can do. All right, and the more people that you have in your area, the more things you can get done, even where you're at. And so I say, like I said, there's a lot of confusion. And the things that people are saying, like this person said, y'all have a temple means you're a religious organization. Which government? If you don't know about the governing structure of the temple, that means you're on the outside looking in. You don't even know. You don't even know what the prophet brought. You don't even know we have a constitution, man. You don't even know. You don't even know what that means. You need to go in and learn. And if you have no desire to go in and learn, then I shouldn't even be talking to you. I'm wasting my time. And you shouldn't be watching this video because you have no desire to do it. Right? Share this though, because maybe somebody else will. And that's real, because I understand everybody isn't, built for it. Everybody doesn't want to. But and that okay, yeah, so okay, you're from the Caribbean, you don't know about the Moors. Okay. If you want to know more, I would say get the prophet's literature. Read it. Maybe build with some other brothers who've been in it for a while so that you can increase your understanding. Okay, and the prophet, what he set up, he told you not to go out here breaking the laws of the United States. In addition to that, we have our own divine laws. But if you're in accordance with the divine laws, you don't have to worry about breaking the laws of the United States because you're not going to do it. If you're in accordance with divine law. And so to me that comment's dumb. But if you're on the outside looking in and you call yourself a Moor, you should read into it. You should read into what the person the only reason you even know you're a Moor and who set this stuff up, you should read what he brought and gain an understanding on it. For real, this is really important. And so there's a lot of confusion out here. All right. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you've been getting this information from. It goes way deeper than that. Okay, I'm going to read something from the Divine Warning by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He said, the wealth of all national governments, gold and silver, and commerce belong to the citizens alone, and without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Right? And it's like, brother, I didn't see the questions that you were asking. All right. So what was that nationalism without a name? National. Is that why it was so easily attached? And the fact that we didn't build up a good protective force for the communities. Indigenous law gives us the right, and the Moors Divine National Movement is set up to support these government systems to build. Okay, all right. First off, with the setting up of the religious society, okay, the way that it's constructed, you have the right to come in, take part in your society, and declare your nationality. Okay? You know, there's argument that the Freedmen's Bureau was actually supposed to do that. All right? Because it was a known fact. All right? Maybe not by us, but it was known that we were given titles, okay, which had legal implications, which made us, you know, second-class citizens or third-class citizens at best, which made us, for the most part, perpetual slaves. Okay? And so we couldn't count on the U.S. government to correct that situation. They didn't do it. The prophet had an understanding on this, which would make no sense for someone from North Carolina to have a great understanding of law, all right, and to be able to do this. And that's why it's known that what he did was divine. He had the wisdom to set this up. It's real. Okay? We had something that was set up for us to get ourselves out of this box, this legal box, that for the most part we're still in. And that's why people can't just trash the system that he set up. That's why people need to come into the temple, need to abide by the laws and everything that he set up for us. Okay? This wasn't just done by just some dude who was well read. It would make no sense for him to understand these things that he understood if he isn't who he said he was. It just would make no sense, because even lawmakers know that this is real. I can't, you know, verify that for you. You'll have to do that on your own, because it's going to be very difficult to get somebody like that to admit this stuff on the record. But off the record, you'll meet some people, maybe, if they see you in your proper status, who'll talk to you. And they'll confirm for you that it's real. Of course, it can't just be one of us doing this, and the temples can't be empty. We have to come in there and we have to abide by it. And so in the reality of it, in a nutshell, what's going on is, you know, the internet. The information's out there. So a lot of people know that we're Moors now. They don't really know what that means, and they don't know what I just explained. They don't know about that. And so people are just running with that, and you got a lot of people feel like they're smart, and they don't really know. You don't have the basics. You don't have the core. Okay? And so for you to be out here, you know, causing confusion, doing all this extra stuff, which has nothing to do with being Moorish. See, people keep ignoring that. Europeans started this sovereign citizen stuff. All the information that you're dealing with, I don't care who is saying it. I don't care if they look like me. I don't care if they, you know, got a fez on. I don't care. They're mixing that information in with Moorish nationality, because they're seeing how, okay, yeah, what these Europeans are on, this is real. And they're trying to see if that was a remedy for us. Okay, but it's not what the prophet brought. All right, and by doing those things, you're potentially placing yourself in harm's way. And at this point in time, look, it's not just a coincidence that this information is out here and in our community, all right, and prevalent. You got black ops, you got some actual resources, government resources behind that, because they see that's confusion, and it's just going to keep more people confused. And so people are taking it and running with it. All right. And that's it. You know, and that's where all the confusion is coming from. People are taking that information and running with it, and they don't even realize that they're breaking our own laws that we have. If you abide by our laws, our Constitution, you're not supposed to be out here doing any of that stuff. Okay, let me do something about that. Hang on 1 second, yeah. All right. Got some foolishness going on in here. I'm about to do something about that though. Just bear with me. But if what I'm saying is wrong, you know, go ahead and correct me. All right, good. Okay, took care of that. Okay, y'all gonna have to chill on the foolishness. Okay? Chill on the foolishness. You can still watch, but don't be in here saying all this stupid mess. For real. Cause you're not getting anything done. Right? So you're saying everyone has the right to practice true sovereignty. It just must be done in law through nationality. I mean, what are you talking about is when you say sovereignty? What is sovereignty to you? Whose definition are you going off of? Are you going off of what the Europeans are putting out here? I mean, what are you asking? Because that's confusing. There's a lot of confusion out here. You're saying which is stated in the Declaration of Human Rights. Because, okay, the people as a whole are sovereign. The citizens as a whole, the people, the nation. The government is supposed to be the people. The officials are supposed to be the servants of the people. All right. And so for what you're saying, you wouldn't be able to move in that way or as a sovereign nation unless there's some type of unity and some type of way that we interact as a whole. Because obviously you're not going to be able to get the whole to move as one or to agree as one. But there has to be like that Supreme Grand Council that, okay, this is what we're going to all, you know, move with. They set the laws, and this is what we do. Plain and simple. All right? That's the only way I can answer it because, you know, I don't really know what you mean by that. Okay? You know, one, you know, by itself is not truly sovereign. You know, to be sovereign, okay, you know, from the definitions that I've seen, you need to be able to, you know, control things at a mass scale, to move armies and things like that. And that would be the people as a unit, as a whole. And we have that. It came under attack. It couldn't be attacked directly, okay? And that's the thing with our actual legit movement, okay? The Moorish Divine and National Movement cannot be outright attacked, okay? We really do stand on love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We really are about building up our own community. It's not about any of this other stuff that you see online. It can't be attacked outright, but it can be attacked, you know, discreetly. And that's what happened. And that's what's still happening. If you're out here on your own, you know, or moving with some tribe that you just created or that somebody just made up, or whatever, all that stuff is open to attack. And matter of fact, all of those things are being used to discreetly attack the Moorish Science Temple of America. Why? Because these people are willingly being lumped in with these sovereign citizens who had nothing to do with you. And they're trying to pin that sovereign mess on everyone. Even though the things that you would be doing are out of order. We don't, you know, that's not what we do. That's not how we move. Right? And then like I was saying earlier, at its core, it's empty. At its core, it's confusion. It's foolishness. Okay? At its core, they're getting nothing done. Anyone who's standing on that stuff, you ought to be real. What I said is true. There's no organization. You know, they're not saying, hey, we all put in, you know, X, Y, and Z every month. Everybody kicks in every month so that when these people get locked up and have issues from following what we all are practicing, they're at least covered financially. Right? It's not like that. You're not moving like that. So it's every man for himself if you're moving like that. And they're not getting anything done. They're not changing anything. They're not getting laws made. They're not getting protections for their people. It's just everyone for themselves. It's foolish, right? Yeah, and I think that person, the person you talking about in the chat, he be selling paperwork too, man. Yep. Selling them selling nationality packets and stuff for like $500, $300 or whatever. So like anybody that's doing that stuff, I wouldn't trust. Okay? Yeah. And so again, the case that I was talking about in Chicago where the lady, I don't know where she was getting her information from, but she considered herself Moorish, and she put a bay on her name. And then I guess her brother had gotten locked up, so she tried to file liens against judges and different, you know, different known people. Okay? And it backfired. All right? And I told you why it backfired, because they had a law to protect different public officials because people were actually getting killed, you know? And so in retaliation for that, they made it so that anyone who's going after them can be prosecuted. She got 7 years for that, for filing liens, not for something else. So no, I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. And that's acting out of order, you know? If your family member or whatever gets caught selling heroin, you know, or, you know, something like that, controlled substance, you don't go filing liens against, you know, the judges and people like that. That's acting out of order, man. Okay? Because first off, if you're a Moorish American, you're conducting yourself a different way. You're not going to be getting caught with heroin or cocaine or any of these things. You're not supposed to do that. See, you don't even have to worry about those laws because you're in divine law. You're not going to be in those situations, right? And so that was, you know, that was a messed up situation. And right away, they kept labeling her as sovereign citizen. Didn't matter what she wanted to call herself. They saying, okay, sovereign citizen, paper terrorist. They made these labels for you. Okay? If you're foolish, that's what they created it for. All right? And so people aren't seeing that it is a trap. And that's legit. That's the advice, is to avoid it. We have ways to move. Okay? But the biggest thing that people say is the temples are empty. I mean, the temples are infiltrated or whatever. And the thing is, it's not even that they're infiltrated anymore. They're empty. All right? The infiltration worked because they went, you know, right after the prophet died, they split everything up into a bunch of different, you know, grand bodies or whatever they want to call themselves. They split themselves up. And you had mismanagement and all types of things that went on to the point where, and to the point where this guy's got to get out of here. They did it, and to the point where the Moors left. They stopped coming to the temple. You know, people went into the Nation of Islam. That even the Nation of Islam, you know, it can be argued. You know, in this book, the brother we're going to speak to, he said he has in here that Elijah Muhammad, okay, Elijah Poole Bey was a member of the temple, and I think he said he was at convention or something like that. So I don't know if he was in Chicago or Detroit. All right, and it also says in there that Fard Muhammad, or Wali Fard, or whatever you want to say it, was also in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Okay, so when this split occurred, you know, people went off. I know Fard created the Allah Temple, And let me get this picture for you guys. Okay? Hang on. Now, we could say this is all hearsay, right? But it's not. And I'll show you why. I'm not attacking anyone or anything either. You know, I don't feel any kind of way about this, so I'm not trying to attack the NOI or anyone. I'm just sharing information that people don't know. So if you can see this screenshot, right, it says at the bottom, Prophet W.D. Fard crowning lost found brothers of Islam with their own freedom, justice, and so even just, okay, with this right here, it's saying that he's crowning the lost found brothers of Islam, and then it says freedom, justice, and it's cut off, right? But you know that we stand on love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, right? And he's crowning them with fezzes, right? And he started the Allah Temple in Detroit. And many of the members, as after the Prophet Noble Drew Ali died, and all of the confusion, the people who were vying for power, all of these things started to happen. A lot of people, you know, you can just assume would have felt disillusioned with the movement. This was tapped into, you know. They didn't want to just, I'm not even trying to act like they were trying to, you know, divert the movement or destroy it, but it's like, look, they didn't want to let it die. So what do? It's like, here, come here. Allah's temple. And so they're wearing fezzes, right? And so these things aren't just, you know, rumors. It's not just hearsay. All right? There's truth to this. Okay? And like a lot of people don't know this. Even people that's in the Nation of Islam don't even know that in the beginning they were wearing fezzes. And that's why you'll see the pictures of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with the same thing on, fez, I think with the star and a crescent on it, right? So it's like, in many ways, it was rebranded. Okay? And I say that just to say that that's where you get to the point where you're at now. Okay? Where the temples, for the most part, fell apart. And a lot of people who were riding with that, they went into the Nation of Islam. And then you had other movements that came across too. Right? Other people that came across as well. Okay, several other people that came across, right? But that's what happened. And so now the temples are for the most part empty, all right? And it's making a resurgence only because there's a resurgence in Moorish identity, Moorish nationality, Moorish science. People are starting to become aware of this stuff. And that's it, all right? But you guys can't fall for the trap. The trap is the sovereign mess is out there, all right? The confusion, it's out there. And they're telling you to stay out of the temple, to stay away. Why are they telling you this stuff? Because it's the only way you can actually fix these things. That's it, plain and simple. All right? When you see the people who are actually out here and who are actually like actively doing these things, standing on their right to travel and all these things, you know, and some of these people are like actually encouraging others to do it, and they're getting locked up. Some of them even live streaming themselves getting locked up. How come there's no contingent, you know, just across the board, you know, where people are putting up money? People who are sympathizers, they're putting up money so that everyone who does this stuff, you know, they don't have to worry about their legal fees and their cars and all that stuff. It's disorganized, man. It's supposed to be like that. All right? It was created, not by us. It was put out here to keep you guys from coming into the movement. And even those people who are saying that, they're dealing, they wouldn't even know this stuff if it wasn't for the Prophet and the legit movement. All right? So like the brother just said in the chat, it's disorganized by design. That's it. That's it. It's that simple. Okay? And for, you know, some people may not understand what I'm doing. I'm not really talking to the people who are in here who are like knuckleheads. That's how come if somebody's in here just being troublesome and they not really talking about anything from my perspective, you're just getting blocked. Why? Because the questions that are being asked, some of these things are like asinine, like just foolishness. I'm not saying everyone. Some of you people have real concerns, and if I see it, okay, we'll address it. But some of the people, they got their minds made up already. They're rolling with the foolishness. And that's it. And so there's nothing you can say to them. I'm not even trying to get to you because there's nothing that can be said to you. Some of you aren't that dumb. Some of you know about what the prophet brought, and you still aren't trying to live right. You still don't want to be, in accordance with divine law. You still want to be out of order. And I'm definitely not trying to talk to them. I'm not even trying to be around you if you're like that. Right? I'm doing this for the people who are coming into this. Okay? So that they can make that decision for themselves. All right? Because when I was learning about this, it wasn't even as popular as it is now. Okay? I've been on this for like 13 years. So I found out about it before it was online. Okay? In the real world. Right? And I know where these other people are coming from because I've been exposed to that stuff. A lot of times that's the only way I would have known about this, is hearing all this other mess, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, you have to at least at least what I'm doing is putting this out here so that look, the only reason any of us know that our nationality was stripped from us is because we had a prophet who's divine. He set up a movement that's for real, that's legit. He had knowledge and wisdom and understanding of law that he shouldn't have had as a brother, one of us from North Carolina. Just one of us. There's no way he should have known about this. Okay? Back when he had the movement up and running and strong, a lot of the members were illiterate. And a lot of the members who could read couldn't read and understand that well. All right? Especially when you're reading documents like the Constitution and things like this, which are almost written in the Queen's English, where they're using thee and thou. Difficult to understand unless you're well educated. And so it would make, so as I said, a lot of the people didn't even really understand what the prophet brought. And that's another reason why the movement fell. A lot of people didn't even understand it then. And that's how come he could look at his people and say, well, it's going to take the third generation. You're not going to get it. Okay? That wasn't a prophecy. He's just feeling out the crowd. He understands they don't know what we're dealing with. But he also understands that this is legit and it's not going to be destroyed. It's going to last. Somehow it's going to last. All right? And so that's why we know about it to this day. And so that's how come even if somebody's on here and they running crazy with this information is tearing them up, tearing them apart. They're, getting information from everywhere and they're all over the place and disorganized and confused. They still wouldn't have known about any of this. They wouldn't even know that they're more if it wasn't for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And out of respect, they should pay homage and learn. At least if they don't know, they should learn. Okay, and so I put this out there for all of you, especially for those of you who are new, who are coming to this. Okay, learn what the prophet brought. I would say join the Moorish Science Temple of America. And don't get caught up in the people that are in there or whatever, and be turned off by that. Because like I said, the temples are empty. You have to build it up. We're the ones. And if we're not the ones, then we're cowards who are passing it on to our children and grandchildren. I'm not a coward. And so I'm saying you're either going to come in there and do the work, or you're going to be a coward and you're going to pass down more confusion and more burdens, to your children and unborn children. That's where we're at. That's why I put this out there. And that's why people coming in here with foolishness get blocked, because you're not important. We don't need to address the know-it-alls who aren't going to do anything anyway. If you want to stand on right to travel because your license suspended anyway, you live in trifling, man. This was just an excuse. That's it. You're trying to squat in houses, in neighborhoods where they don't want you anyway. you're foolish, and you probably had nothing to lose anyway. Because if you were doing good in life, that wouldn't even be something you would entertain, right? That's the truth, okay? And hey, we just had to put that out there for the people, okay? The people need to see this so they can make that, decision for themselves. That's not the right way to move, okay? If you have issues, license suspended, any of that stuff, go on and take care of that, Don't do what these fools and clowns are advising, okay? Because they're not going to help you. They're not going to back you up. They're not even organized enough to just put funds aside for other people who want to stand on it. Don't be a sacrifice for no reason, right? Because that's the other thing you'll see people saying, well, somebody got to, get out here and do it. Somebody got to sacrifice. You're not even taking one for the team. There's no team. There's no nothing. It's every man for themselves. You're not a martyr. You're not anything. You're just doing it for no reason. They're not moving. They're not getting things done. They're not changing it so that no more Moors will get locked up for being on that mess. No, they're not doing anything. They're not putting forth anything. It's just here to distract you. And when you see these things, that's why I was saying, like, the things like the consulate, all that stuff, man. From what I'm seeing, it's not organized enough. Because I'm telling you, there's no reason, if you're legit and you're upstanding and you're purporting yourself, or positioning yourself in the front of the movement, there's no reason why you should have a segment of your, get this screenshot up. There's no reason why you should have a segment of your, organization that is catering to these trifling situations. You want to get out of those charges, they kidnapping you. Why they kidnapping you? Because you had heroin on you. You got caught with some kilos. What the hell? This is not legit. That's not legit. You don't cater to that. You can't cater to that and then act like you're this upstanding, organization. You're really about building a nation, because that has nothing to do with nation building. Okay? Because anyone who's on that type of stuff, they still have work to do before they can contribute properly. Right? And so I'm going to pull this up, and then we're going to wrap this up. But I did want to speak on that. Because, like, that makes no sense. And, I guess it just has to be placed in a proper light. So, really, like I said, I'm just doing this so that people can see and make that, decision for themselves. Okay? A brother said, if he had a church, could Moors help you turn it into a temple? Of course. Could build off the internet. Matter of fact, go to mstofA.net. I'll just say that. Go there, contact the temple, contact the home office in Chicago, and build with the Moors off of the internet. Okay? And there you go. Yeah, of course. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go on and do the screen share. Hang on a second. I'm not trying to dump on anyone. Like, I don't want to, attack any group. I don't want it to seem like I'm singling anything or anyone out. But we have to be real. So I'm gonna show you something. Right. Because this stuff has to be discussed. I didn't want to do this, but all right. Oh, you know what? They might have taken it down. Maybe they heard some of the stuff I was saying and they took it down. Hang on. Daryl, the brother said, how can I get a passport in my new proclaimed name? That's actually very simple. Okay? And what I would say is, if you're going to do this stuff out here on your own and you just want to fill me out for information, I ain't telling. Okay? But if you want to be a legit member of the movement, the Moorish Divine and National Movement, join the temple. Okay? And we could build, off the internet about it. All right? But I'm going to say it like that because I'm not charging for services. You got some people who will charge you for that stuff. But it's like, look, it's very simple. Very simple. It's not even a big deal. Getting a passport and your free national name. And if you were a member of a temple, actually, you probably wouldn't even be asking that question because they tell you what to do. It's real easy. It's not complicated. And the main reason I'm saying that is because, like, everybody's out here just filling everybody for information, trying to get everything that they can, and they don't want to be a part of the real movement. Like, for real. Like, come on, man. Join the temple. The temples are empty. This is the call. This is the call to it. Like, get on in there and do it, man. Especially if you about it, if you for real. We need more people like that in there. Right? But, like, name change, name correction, whatever you say, that's simple, dude. It's not complicated. Do the same thing the prophet did. Man, I'm trying to find this thing so I can share it with y'all. But yo, I'm starting to think they took it down. Oh no, okay, they didn't. Good. Okay. We're gonna do a screen share again, and just hang in there. Bear with me. Yeah, and the reason, look, I don't know how that sounded, but the reason I said that, like, what I said is this. Okay, for the brother asked about the getting a passport and their new proclaimed name. Look, brother, join the temple and build with the members in there, sheiks or whatever, and they'll tell you it's real simple. It's not a secret. But it's just so simple, you know what I'm saying? That, like, it's not some big secret. It's real easy, okay? It's not complicated. I don't know what these other people are doing because I know there's people who like sell name change stuff and they charge a lot of money. It's real simple, real easy. But build, But if you're doing it on your own, like, you still need to join the temple. Don't do it on your own, man. Don't be out there on your own. Become a part of the temple, especially after what I'm telling you, man. It's empty. Need to come in there and do it, right? And that's where I'm gonna direct people from on here on Moors in America, because y'all need to stop trying to hang out, outside of the movement or whatever you want to call it, and do it out here. You need to come on in. Everybody need to come on in the temple, and then we can ask different questions because we all know the basics that we all supposed to know. Yeah, and I agree with that, what the brother just said. Right?
Call from Limit 2.
Okay, so we're gonna do the screen share.
Call from Limit 2.
Can't cut that
Call
out.
from Limit 2.
All right.
Call from Limit 2.
Well, okay, so yeah, I'm here, Moorish Consulate website, and I'm just here at the frequently asked questions, right? Frequently asked questions is updated weekly. Need help? Nationality card, blah blah blah. Okay, so all right, when you go down here, there's a lot of red flags on here, right? It opens up on a new, in a new page, and these are the type of things that they're dealing with. That's why there's up here is frequently asked questions, because for the most part, this is why people are coming in. How can I extract a Moor from the unlawful corporate institute when a Moor is being held without direct consent? Which is just another way of saying somebody's locked up, right? And so that's what you're dealing with, people who's getting locked up. How can I report a kidnapping? I don't know. Maybe they're talking about real kidnappings. Now this is like, okay, this is, how can I get an unlawfully seized, stolen automobile, truck, or property back from the corporate policy officers that took it, right? So they're talking about people who are getting their vehicles impounded or you know, like repossessed or whatever. They're talking about people, who are getting their cars impounded, maybe because they're standing on a right to travel or whatever. I don't know. This is a big thing. That's why it's on here at the top, right? And their part, it says the answer. This is also a part of standing. So this is a part of standing on your right to travel. That your car is going to get taken away by the corporate policy enforcers. This has to be placed in the proper light, because this is stupid. You can create and file a demand to return stolen property that policy officers seize through the corporate court. An existing demand to use a sample is located at the following website. And then if you go here, they probably charge them for that existing template. Affidavit to return property. They letting you know this is a part of standing. You stand on your right to travel.
Remember, our nationality establishes and identifies the jure sovereign American peoples of the American continent.
But more than likely, they're selling the affidavit to return property. I don't know. Maybe they're giving it away. But that's dumb. That's dumb. Why are you going through all this? It's a part of standing. Now, do they have like some funds or something set aside for all these people who's standing? What are you standing on your right to travel for? What's it getting done? What's it getting done nationally? If you want to argue this is, part of building a nation, what's it getting done for us nationally? Right? It's not doing anything nationally. It's not even doing anything locally. Everyone that does it is on their own. It's just a part of standing, right? These people are being positioned and put in front of you, okay, to hurdle you, to herd you towards something for no reason. It's just like if you dumb enough to be out there at these Black Lives Matter protests. You just out there standing, protesting for nothing. It's not stopping them from killing unarmed, sometimes just innocent people who have nothing to do with anything. Sometimes children. They're just killing them and getting away with it. It's not making it where where they're gonna start getting prosecuted. It's not doing anything. It's just standing. So if you standing on your right to travel, you standing on your own. Your car will get taken. Your vehicle. All right. We can give you this affidavit probably for a price. So that's a game. That's a joke. And I guess it's a way to get paid. All right. And then I guess they issuing nationality cards. Right? On their own. Okay? And then you're foolish if you're giving them your thumbprint. All right? People who are telling you to do this, advising you to do this, this is some, either, it doesn't matter whether it's sanctioned by like a secret, portion of the government, like the COINTELPRO type organization, or if it's by some, billionaires who want to help depopulate us like George Soros. It doesn't matter who's financing it. Who's backing it? Who's putting resources towards it? It's not us. This is not a grassroots movement. This has nothing to do with the Moorish Divine and National movement. This is not what was started by a prophet. It's not legit. Right? Okay. And then they tell you nationalize. How do I nationalize? Of course, they're not advising you to go into the temple. They're just telling you to do it by yourself. And then they're telling you that, you can do the name correction, judicial notice, all this stuff. And they're giving you, I guess, the free template for the proclamation papers. Man, I bet you if we look at that proclamation, woo, it's going to have too much information on here. I'm going to call you back. It's going to have way too much information on here. All right. I'm gonna do this real quick. Okay, let's look at this name declaration, right? Now, since the brother asked, I guess I'll hit on this. Name declaration, name change, whatever, real simple. I'm doing this for religious purposes. Member of the temple. Boom, simple, quick, easy. Business. You don't know how to do business. You keep it simple. You don't give more information than what is asked for. This, being a direct descendant of the ancient Moabites, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 Northwest Maxim, blah, 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 blah. You're giving too much information. This is too emotional. This is too emotional. Too much information. Free Moorish American Zodiac Constitution. What the heck? United States Republic Department of Justice Moorish American credentials. It's like this too much. Too much, man. You don't need to tell them everything that's going on in your head. Moors/Moors. It's like you don't have to do all this. A free and sovereign Moorish American national. Boom. You probably going right on some terrorist list, right? Too much information, man. Name correction, name change, simple and easy. Why are you giving them all this information? They didn't ask for it. Why are you giving it? That's terrible advice. Terrible. I would rip that to shreds. That's terrible advice, man. I don't care how smart somebody is that thinks that, this advising people to do this. That's ridiculous. Right? Nationality proclamation. Like, why are you doing this? Our nationality was already proclaimed and set up and established. But I guess if you want to hang out by yourself, you don't want to get in the prophet's movement because you think the prophet is wrong. What did the prophet say? If he's wrong, the temple's wrong. So you think he's wrong. So you want to do it by yourself. So I guess you do need to do all this crazy mess. And if you filed it, man, you can still correct it. Come out of this. You don't need to go in here telling them all this, man. You don't, this is what's going on inside your head. You don't need to give this to them. Right? Come on, man. It says a lot of stuff in here. That's all I'm saying. It says a lot of stuff in here. You don't have to go in on this. You don't. This is too much. Okay, back to the frequently asked questions. How can I verify I'm on record? But okay, that don't matter. I have a case. Open case for driving without a license. Once again, people ask about this stuff so much, they cover it. Contact the nearest consulate post. Leave a message. They'll call you back. You have an open case. How can I get a witness when there's no witnesses near me? I guess you do need to be trying to get people that's on that same mess with you to be your witness. They're not going to give you no money, though. Finance, put your money where your mouth is. Back it up. So that's foolishness, man. That is straight foolishness. And then they're telling you where to send your declarations. That same mess that I was putting up there, your name declaration, which has way too much information in it. And is way too much. They're doing too much. This is extra. And then proclamations, where to send it? Oh, send your nationality declaration and name declaration to Donald Trump? Are you crazy? Send it to the Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Even just this makes no sense. Even just in practicality, you have an issue. You don't say you went to Walmart or somewhere, you had an issue. You don't send it all the way up to the president of Walmart or to the CEO of Walmart. You don't do that. There's a chain of command. There's somebody who deals with customer service issues. So if you're wanting to do this, there will be it's like, come on. They're telling you send it to Trump. Send it to the Chief Justice. Send it to the U.S. Department of Treasury. Send this to Attorney General. Send this to Secretary of State, Provost Marshal General. What the hell? The Archbishop near you? Man, they're telling you to send this to the Secretary of the United Nations. So they're telling you to send this to all these people. And what's it doing for them? Right? And then they're telling you to file liens. Oh, make sure you file a lien against the mayor in Washington, D.C., the Office of Tax Revenue. What the heck? This is foolishness. Stay away from all this. So they're telling you to file liens so that you can be like that lady that got locked up. This is ridiculous. I'm having foreclosure problems, child support, human traffic, suits, tickets, tax liens. What should I do? Okay? These are trifling issues. And I know, people may have problems and don't feel like there's an attack on you. If you're having these issues, deal with them. Don't follow their advice. Who are they truly helping? This is foolishness. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. So I don't know how you feel after looking at that, man. I think if you're a sensible person, you see that is foolishness. And they're tapping in, they're taking advantage. Not necessarily them. Maybe they're programmed. Okay, but the program is to take advantage of the fact that you're waking up and that you want to do something about it. And so instead of encouraging you to come into the Prophet's movement and to actually enact and do what we are supposed to do as Moors, to be noble, to be upright, to be fearless, instead of coming in and doing what we're supposed to do and carrying out the movement, they're just dispersing your energy into these places that will have you messed up. And that's how come they're dealing with trifling issues. And because if you start getting into that, even if you aren't already living a trifling lifestyle, your life will start having those issues. Case in point, which I'm not going to show you because I don't want to put them out there. But that lady who got locked up, the news article about her was saying how she was educated. Her family, they were all educated, well-to-do, they were successful, making good money. Her parents got locked up. Why? Because they got with some people who were saying, hey, we can get this money. All you have to do is file these tax returns and say that you have a trust that earned millions of dollars and you'll get hundreds of thousands back. Which is a lie. That's out of order. You didn't really earn that much. They're not getting you that money because you're Aboriginal and they owe you. They're not coming at it like that. They're taking advantage of loopholes. You're saying you earned this much off of your good faith, off of your word, IRS cutting you a check. They cut them a check, and then they came back and locked them up. And these were her parents, and she was already like in her 40s or 50s, so they had to be elderly. And so they got broke off, and then they got locked up, you know, like 4 years or something like that. A husband and wife, you know, they should be grandparents. They shouldn't be in prison. You know, and I saw they had the L Bay on their name. So they not, you know, even doing what we do within the temple. They got the L and the Bay on there, and they're trying to get money off of taxes, and they got locked up. It's a tax scheme. People do it all the time. It has nothing to do with being Moorish. They didn't say, hey, we're going to get this money because we Aboriginal, you owe us. No, they like, okay, look, you just say you made this much, even though you didn't. They're going to cut you the check for $500,000, $300,000. Right? That's lying. That's out of order. Moorish Americans don't do that. They got locked up. And they're saying in that article, this family, they're educated, they're well, you know, they're successful. They, you know, they were doing good. And so following behind this type of information that I just showed you, that got them in trouble. You know, who wants to be in prison? Right? And so for the brother who's in the islands, where you at? Barbados, Trinidad? Where you at, brother? Because there was another brother who sent me a message who was, I think he was in Trinidad. And he was just trying to build with other Moors. You know, maybe even open a temple. You know, so let me know where you're at. And email me on the side at bay@moorsinamerica.com. And maybe I can connect you with that, brother, because that's the way to go about doing it. Do it official. Do what the prophet brought. The prophet set up the religious society, okay, that's official. You go, you do it that way, and it's official. And build on that level. Don't follow behind that foolishness that I was just showing you, because that's not legit. That's just tapping into the energy. That's just taking advantage of the fact that we waking up, and it's just dispersing energy in all these different directions and getting people locked up. Getting people in trifling situations instead of us moving forward, being upright, fearless, noble, instead of us building businesses and doing things together and actually getting legislation and things like that done, which is how we're supposed to move. It's getting people caught up out here in every direction. Okay?
It sure is.
So it's an unfocused, you know, crazy movement with no substance. It stands on nothing. It's empty. All right. So if you out there in that vicinity, hit me up, bay@moorsinamerica.com. Maybe I could plug you in with other person, especially if they're out there by you, y'all can open a legit temple. Yeah, I think the other brother was in Trinidad too. So just I put my email in here. And brother, that's what I'm saying. Like, because I know everybody's getting the information, you know, for the most part from the internet. And so people don't even know that we have laws, man, legit laws, that we're legit. You know? And our word. Yeah, somebody just hit me up like 2 days ago. So if that was you, okay. But maybe it was somebody else. So I can plug y'all in and you can get it started. Alright? That's the way to go. Avoid all this other stuff. Okay? Because that stuff's crazy, man. And that's why I just had to say that out loud. Just put it in the proper light, man. You got to see it for what it is, man. It's foolishness. And they're coming out here being reckless. And they don't even think that highly of you. You know? They don't even think that highly of you. Because what they'll do, if somebody got a case dismissed, let's say somebody got caught trafficking drugs or something like that, and they got it dismissed, they didn't get it dismissed based off their status, off them being indigenous or anything like that. They got it dismissed the same way anyone can. There's loopholes. All right? You study the law, you can get off. All right? That's why if you have money, you can pay for good lawyers, you can get off. If you study, you can get off. Europeans are doing it. Everyone's doing it. So they're not special in that right. But they know. They think lowly of us. They're like, man, all we got to do is say, just put out a little tweet saying, hey, we got them off. Moors are winning out here. And they know that a lot of people will just see that as a win and go along with the confusion. Okay? So they don't want us to be upright, upstanding, to hold ourselves like that and to do it for real. They don't want us to do that. They want us to think that we can still be out here selling drugs and not taking care of our children and doing a bunch of trifling stuff. They want us to think that we could live like that and be okay. Right? So, that's it. And that's really where we at right now. All right. Oh, wait, hold up. I thought I put that in the chat. Hang on. Man, how do I bring the chat back up? Okay. Hold up. I'm going to put the website up. I say just contact the Moors. And I'm going to put my email. You could just email me. All right. And so on that note, I'm out. All right. I just say just stay away from the foolishness. You can see it for what it is. You know, if you just step back and look at it in a proper light, it's not nation building, and it's just distractions. All right. So that's it. That's what it is. Okay. And anybody telling you to file some proclamation and put all of this information in there, it's ridiculous. What the prophet set up is it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go do all that stuff. And then they're putting way too much in there. Okay? And then they're telling you to put your thumbprints on it and all this stuff. And it's like, you know, asking if I respect some other Moorish groups. I don't disrespect, like, you know, anyone. I'm not coming to anybody like that. We all need to work together. You know? I don't even know what they deal with. Like, I've never, like, talked to them or, like, you know, looked at their, you know, what they're putting out. So I don't know. You know? I think we all need to work together. All right, and if they're serious and legit, then that's what's up. Could work with them. I know they was doing some foolishness, but I'm not with that. That's how come I don't partake in that stuff. I'm not coming out here dissing people and doing stuff like that. That's childish, man. It's not getting anybody anywhere. You stick to the script. Stick to the facts. Okay? Not trying to get more views or whatever. It's foolish. Right? And you know, that's pretty much it, man. That's all I had to say. I hope people see that. And like I said, this is really for the people who are coming into this, because the other people already know everything, and you can't reason with them because that don't make sense to them. None of that does. Right? And so, like, yeah, for any Moors that's out there that's like, you know, building, I respect them. Shoot, that's what they doing. I got respect for them. They cool. All right. And on that note, I'm out. Peace, y'all. Get out there and be productive. Peace.